Hi, I endeavor to make all introductions on this channel as awkward as possible because it's gonna weed out all the posers who only watch my channel because it's cool. It's not cool. I want the genuine souls to be here. This is Wednesday, Odin's Day, and I want to do something different for Wednesdays. I want to have 3 series going on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And a big part of that is because I have obsessive compulsive disorder, and I can't. I just like the neatness of that. So you get breaks on Tuesdays and on Thursdays and on the weekends. Because the weekends we can do whatever we want. We can be at home with our families, we can eat good food, drink some wine, maybe go on a date with someone beautiful or someone ugly if that's your thing. And then and then I can spend, the days when I'm not filming or trying to entertain you badly. I can make art myself. And that's the thing. On Mondays, I'm going to be showing you, for a moment, I'm going to be showing you cats. Because that's what I've been drawing lately. Because of whatever reason, I have a new obsession I need to get out of my system. And on Fridays, you're gonna get this guy, this portable pig. But something I love, obviously, I think you can tell by now, is that I love art. And I always found that, especially when it comes to more traditional forms of art, so painting and sculpture and such, there is this attitude online in especially sort of more nerdy circles that's somehow that's not for us, that's not for you. It's obviously for me because I am an art anyway, but there is this inaccessible element of it. And I thought, well, maybe having had some audience coming from back in the day from the Yogscast guys, some gamers, and to follow me, I thought, well, why not do like a bit of sit down and just talk about painting, talk about painters, talk about art, proper art, quote unquote, proper art. And I think that one of the issues is that, of course, art galleries is by far the best way of looking at art. Art museums, art galleries, there's no doubt about that. If you want to see a painting, you should go and see that painting. It's always going to be the best way of enjoying art. That obviously also comes with the issue of one singular artwork can only exist in one particular spot. Sometimes you have paintings that go on tours, and sometimes you have fabulous, temporary exhibitions here and there. But for the most part, it's a little bit cumbersome, especially if you compare it to like music, where a recording of an album of a song can just be shared internationally wherever you are. You can't be in the middle of Siberia and listen to the Beatles. But the second best way of looking at art is via art books. And art books everyone can get. They are plentiful. There's so many art books in the world. You can go to any secondhand store and find some delicious art books. And I have a bit of a collection of art books. And I thought I would make a series going through my collections and finding a particular artist of that week where a particular artwork in that art book that I want to highlight and share and talk about. And it's going to be very specific and very nerdy, but if you're along for this ride, then you're going to like it because we're going to have fun and talk about art in the way that some YouTubers talk about pop music, or indie games or sports, I guess, or coffee. But I wanted to start us off with someone special. I think possibly the greatest living artist, which is easier because he's old, so he has a lot of work that is done, and a lot of his contemporaries are dead. So that's to his benefit. But he's one of my favorite artists, and I do think he is really special, someone who you should know, and it's David Hockney. Hockney. This is a big ass book. It's published by Taschen, and if you collect art books, you should know Taschen. I mean, this series, if it goes on, it will pretty much be an advertisement for Taschen because almost like 50% of my art books are from Taschen. But David Hockney has been going for a while. I believe he's born in the 30s. He first becomes famous in the 60s. Particularly, I'm going to show you pictures. I'm going to show you from the art book, and then I'm going to add it in afterwards. There's some possible issues with that, I believe, because some images are copyrighted, just the photograph itself. But yeah, I'm just a little small fry. That's not going to cause any problems, I don't think. But he's probably most famous for this one. It's a Biggest Splash from 1967. It's acrylic on canvas. It's very sort of. This is very of its time, contemporary, modern kind of thing. It's in California. It's very blue skies. It's acrylic, so it's not oil. So it's very accessible plastic. They are similar to a series he did, including these two from 1967, the year before. More homoerotic though. As you can see, Hockney is gay. Worth noting, because I think it's important actually to note that he is a queer artist. Probably of the generation who actually doesn't like the word queer. Some older gay people don't like the word queer, even though it's used in a positive sense not right now. I say this because I did see a documentary with Elton John just yesterday, where he talked about how he still hasn't really gotten used to hearing the word queer used positively, because to him it's just negative. Which I get. I get that. But anyway, these are also portraits, the paintings by Hockney. He had this kind of pool face in the 60s, California face. And they're fine. It's not my favorite era of Hockney, I should say. Because to me, in some ways, painting California with these very bright colors, scenes from Los Angeles, California, San Francisco, so on, with these very bright colors, bright skies and blue skies and everything, it's inherently not going to be that interesting to me, because even though it's very, at the time, hip and chic, and, you know, Los Angeles, California has possibly a more negative image today. It's still seen more glamorous back then, but to me, there's no challenge there. They kind of feel a little bit too pop art-ish. That's why something I really love is when Hockney becomes an old man and moves back to England, to Yorkshire, and starts painting lots of nature and landscape paintings. Because he approaches Yorkshire with the same kind of love for color and colorfulness as he did in California. But that's more interesting to me, because you typically wouldn't think of Northern England and that area especially as colorful. But Hockney decides to really look at the landscape and look at it from a more beauty-centered viewpoint, which is incredible. And what I'm going to show you in particular is, I want to preface this by saying, have you thought about trees lately? Have you ever tried painting or drawing trees? If you have, you should know that it's fucking difficult. It's one of those first things that people will draw when they're kids. They will draw a house and a family and a tree that's a bit nearby. But when the kid will draw a tree, they basically just draw a little green cloud and one stem, one sort of brown line, maybe some red dots to be the apples. If you actually drawing a tree, and especially not drawing a tree that has leaves on it, you very quickly realize that all those branches are a fucking nightmare to get right. And this is something called, this is by Hockney from, what is it, 2007. It's bigger trees near water, or, well, actually, I think this is supposed to be, yeah, no, this is David Hockney painting 3 trees near Fixendale, autumn 2008. I'm gonna show you this one. I'm gonna edit in a picture of this one as well, but here we go. This is an incredible painting. It's not naturalistic, but it's very seeing, if I put it that way. I think Hockney, especially later Hockney, kind of encompasses this idea of painting as seeing. It's a meditation. It's a meditation on the visual sense of sight. And these, by the way, these paintings he did a few other ones with trees. You can see here a couple of other ones. They are huge. There's another picture here where you can see him painting in his studio. This is gonna be a little bit awkward, but yeah, as you can see, that's him right down there, and these are the size of these things. They are big paintings. And he decided to just start painting trees. Here are some more. And it's delightful just looking at the trees, like looking at, there is a level of simplicity to these paintings, and if you do paint a tree and you really get into it, you're gonna find that, you know, there is a system there. Like the branches are not just random. You can sort of get a feeling for how it all moves. There is a fluidity to trees that is very interesting, and it's so interesting that he paints these kind of trees not in summer, but he makes it so colorful and so engaging, and it's touching to me, actually. I would go that far as to say that, you know, I'm touched by these paintings. And I'm touched by, you know, a lot of older David Hockney as well. One of my favorite things with Hockney is when he discovered an iPad, and he started drawing pictures on his iPad every morning. And it's just delightful that he found so much kind of enthusiasm as an old man. He born in 1937. But an old man, you know, he's not, if you've seen pictures of Hockney now, he was a smoker all his life. He's not exactly like a spry young thing. He's not the sort of, he's not like James Shatner. It's not like Shatner, the sort of 90-year-old man who still writes horses and goes to space and stuff. Like, he looks old. But just imagining him getting up in the morning and just with his iPad, like drawing picture, not feeling threatened by the new technology, but deciding, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do something fun with this. I'm gonna learn something new, and I'm gonna paint with my iPad. And that's, Hockney in general, like, has a lot of stuff. Yeah, he has a long career, and really, this is a fine art book. Great art book. It's Hockney 40 Taschen. It's not your average art book, according to The Guardian. Whichever degree of it, it's really fucking big. But yeah, this is gonna be Wednesdays from now on. And I'm gonna show you a lot more obscure art books. And I hope you will enjoy just infusing about painting. And possibly sculpture as well. And yeah, actually comics too, why not? Any kind of artistry. Goodbye. I mean, boop.